my name's Jule. I'm an instructor at Anchorage Yoga and Cycle. I'm also a certified Ayurvedic practitioner with the National Ayurvedic Medical Association. I'm here today to share with you some information about Ayurveda, yoga's sister science. It's about 5,000 years old and it's India's traditional medical system. Ayurveda means life wisdom, or science of life, or science of longevity. Ayurveda suggests that health is not simply the absence of disease, but it's rather a state of balance in the mind, body, and consciousness. Well, how do we achieve balance in the mind, body, and consciousness? Ayurveda utilizes the five senses. It suggests that anything we bring in through the five senses either supports us, helps us, heals us, or creates imbalance or disease in the body. We call it ahara, it's intake. You're probably familiar with the five senses. There's sight, there's smell, there's hearing, the sense of sound and hearing, there's touch, and there's taste. I'd like to share a little bit about the sense of taste today. So that kind of translates to, we've probably heard, taste. We are what we eat, right? We are what we bring in. Whatever food we intake creates the body. True. However, Ayurveda suggests we're not what we eat. We're actually what we digest. A lot of Ayurveda is preventative medicine and suggests that the healthier our digestive system is, they actually call it Agni, and it means digestive fire. So the healthier our Agni or digestive fire is, the more properly we can digest whatever we bring in, assimilate it into energy, and extract the nutrients from it. Whereas if the digestive system is compromised or not functioning optimally, Ayurveda suggests that instead of burning and digesting the food, if you will, that the undigested or improperly digested food material creates toxins in the body. Ayurveda calls these toxins ama, and suggests that with time, if we have a lot of ama or toxins in the body due to faulty digestion, that will eventually create imbalance or disease in the body. That any undigested food material actually, we say, goes into the rasa and rakta dhatus, and that just means the plasma in the blood, and it travels around the body. So those toxins are traveling around the body before they lodge themselves into an area that might not be as strong or resilient, and then the disease process begins. So a lot of Ayurveda is a medicine based on prevention, and a lot of the prevention comes with balancing and optimizing the Agni, or the digestive system. There's so many things you can do to increase your body's digestive capacity. Some general tips and tricks that I would like to share with you. Eating fresh organic foods. You think about it, and when foods are really processed and have a lot of chemicals and additives and are genetically modified, the body receives them as like foreign materials. It's kind of like, what is this? And it kind of confuses it, and it renders it harder to digest. Where when our bodies eat food that does not have pesticides or chemicals in it, that is fresher, even seasonal if you can, that it's easier for the body to digest. Another rule of thumb in healthy digestion is that food that tastes good is digested better. And I'm not saying like, artificial flavors and, all sorts of like fancy, unhealthy things that we flavor food with. I'm talking spices. In herbal medicine, we actually call spices carminatives. And carminative means like extracts more nutrients from and eases the digestive system and digestive processes. So everyday kitchen spices spices you're already familiar with. Black pepper, ginger, turmeric, cumin, coriander, fennel, dill, cilantro, basil, oregano, sage, thyme, rosemary, mustard, fenugreek. All of these spices help your body assimilate and absorb food better. Ayurveda suggests that when food is bland or boring tasting, like if you literally have food in front of you and you're like, oh, this sucks, or oh, this doesn't taste that good, if the mind isn't excited to eat it, then the body won't digest it or assimilate it as properly. So eating fresh, organic, seasonal food that tastes good. Another thing that helps our digestive system a lot is only eating when we're hungry. It's a pretty common habit. My teacher used to call it eating for the mind. Sometimes we eat when we're bored just to entertain ourselves, or sometimes we're emotionally eating, trying to escape something. And when we're eating foods without actual hunger, that's your agni not being high enough. So the fire is not stoked, right? A sign of healthy agni or a high fire is appetite. So saving meal times for when you're actually hungry. Ayurveda suggests reducing kind of grazing and snacking throughout the day. When we are always eating food throughout the day, you end up having different foods in different parts of your gastrointestinal tract. You could have food in your stomach and your small intestine and your large intestine. And although our bodies are amazing, our bodies can adapt to so much, they really can. But when you have food in all parts of your digestive system, it's harder for it to digest it. And it takes more energy for your body to break down those foods. And it's hard for our bodies too, all the enzymes that we secrete upon eating. Again, our bodies are intelligent. I eat some food and it fires away enzymes to digest and process it. However, when I'm snacking and grazing all day, the body is always releasing and producing those enzymes, and that takes more energy from the digestive system. So Ayurveda suggests eating meals every anywhere between 3 and 5 hours. It depends a lot on your energy level, your constitution, and how big the meal was. As a rule of thumb, Ayurveda suggests eating until you're about 75% full. And that's a little bit different for everybody, but they say it's about the size of 2 hands. That's about 75% of your stomach's capacity. When we do overeat, our stomachs can actually stretch out, depends on your size as a person, but can actually stretch out to be between 1 and 2 liters. Whoa, right? Thinking about my stomach getting to 2 liters, that's huge. When digestion happens, it's both chemical and mechanical. So the chemical part is all of those digestive enzymes you're secreting. When you stuff yourself, when you overeat, you're stretching your stomach out. So all of those digestive enzymes are trying to contact and start to pre-digest the food, but they can't because there's too much food in there. And then mechanically, your stomach does these peristaltic contractions that helps churn the food, turns it into chyme before it goes into the small intestine. And when the stomach is stuffed, it can't move around and break down and process the food. So both chemically and mechanically, it's harder on our digestion when we eat a lot in one sitting. So about 75% to your maximum capacity is the suggestion. Ayurveda has this tool, they call it the subtle belch. When you're about 75% full, you have a subtle little burp. It's very quiet. It's not but it's very, very subtle. And if you listen for and hear that subtle belch, that's an indicator of your body being about 75% full. Because what your stomach is doing is it's actually rearranging its contents in order to create more room for more food. So listen for that, and that's a good indicator of being about 75% full. However, We are often talking or driving or busy, or we're distracted when we're eating, and so we actually don't even hear the belch. Ayurveda really suggests that we eat mindfully. So that includes, like sitting down, chilling out, not, needing to be moving or rushing or driving or walking or eating on the go, but just sit down and enjoy your food. So that's chewing it thoroughly, eating it mindfully, like actually looking at it, noticing the colors, textures, smelling it. It's a whole sensory experience, actually. We talk about that sense of taste, but all the other senses, right? The sight, the sound it makes, like maybe when it's crackling or frying, or and the smell it makes, the colors, and then how it feels when we touch it. It's all a part of the sensory experience. That too is a part of the digestive process. So eating in mindfulness, when you do take in food, renders it more digestible. Ayurveda suggests that when the mind is fully digesting the food and the whole experience, my mind is with the meal, my mind is with whatever like nutritious goodness I'm bringing in. If my mind is digesting it, then my body is going to digest it better. Ayurveda suggests that there is a mind-body connection with the digestive system. Mind and gut are directly connected. And maybe you've noticed that, right? When you're anxious or stressed out or worried or in a rush, how that affects your digestive system. So it's a two-way street. Your digestive system can also affect the mind. Anything you do that supports your digestion is also going to support your mental health and your mental wellness. Food for thought, right? So I hope these digestive tips help you. And I hope you practice eating more mindfully, maybe thinking about eating to about 75% full. Using some spices and eating fresh, organic, delicious food, and giving yourself the time to enjoy whatever you like to nourish yourself with. Again, my name is Jule. I'm a certified Ayurvedic practitioner, and I'd love to share more Ayurveda with you. Namaste.